Prebiotics, probiotics, what's the difference between the two, and where do they fit in a nutritional protocol, and how can I use them to my best advantage? Let's go over what a prebiotic is. So in a more definitive term, a prebiotic, reading off of the quote unquote one of the most official definitions, is a non-digestible food ingredient that, so meaning a prebiotic, you cannot digest it. It is not digestible. So usually it would fall into the fiber category. So that is important to keep in mind. A prebiotic is a non-digestible food ingredient that will beneficially affect the host, fiber being good for the body, etc. That's old song and dance, by selectively stimulating the growth and or activity of one or a limited number of bacteria in the colon and thus improving the host's health. A quote from Gibson and Robert Freud in 1995, when prebiotics were coming up in their popularity. What is important to keep in mind that I feel I often have to remind people of is that a prebiotic is going to feed the already existing microbiome of a host. And so a prebiotic from fiber, from any other type of plant matter that is non-digestible is going to feed the already existing microbiome. If you're having digestive issues, you may not want to feed the already existing microbiome that you have in your body. And so in that case, dietitian tip number 1 would be, if you are having a hard time with your digestion, you may want to consider not focusing on prebiotics as much, but introducing probiotics, which are the active live cultures microbes that you bring into the body. Prebiotics help maintain healthy digestion when you already have it. Probiotics help uplift and bring forth a healthy microbiome. Interestingly, when you go into more specific diets, you're going to run into like the FODMAPs diet, for example, which is where you're eliminating certain types of foods that have certain types of compounds. And these compounds are prebiotics that can have a distressing type of effect on the gut. And so in the FODMAP abbreviation, prebiotics, the most studies that we've done on prebiotics have been from polysaccharides and oligosaccharides. And that is part of the FODMAP approach. And some people do have to eliminate the oligosaccharides in order for them to feel better. And despite the popular media saying that all prebiotic, all fiber is good, that's not necessarily the case when it comes to someone that's having a hard time with digestion. And so when someone is eliminating a type of prebiotic, a type of non-digestible food, because fiber is inert, it is not digestible in the gut, it is fermentable by the pre-existing bacteria, microbes that are already in there. So interestingly, Inulin is one of the more popular, newer prebiotics that is being administered more and more as a dietary intervention. What is Inulin? Inulin is a chain of fructose molecules completely just lined up one right after another. If you have a dietitian or a health practitioner that is recommending you take Inulin and they're saying you can't have fruits, I don't want to say you should throw out that whole dietitian, but I'm not sure if they know what they're talking about. You may want to back up and ask questions to the dietitian because I have seen this protocol out there and I have seen it online, and it truly does not make sense because you're saying take away the fruit for a low carbohydrate approach, introduce, yes, the Inulin, which is literally a chain of fructose molecules. And you could do the same type of protocol with just take the Inulin out and add more digestible fruit into the diet that contains Inulin. And you would prioritize Inulin containing fruits in that sense to help escort so Inulin acts as a sponge to certain types of fats and certain types of things that are hard to digest, and it helps pull them out of the body. When someone has inulin in their diet, or when someone has fruit that contains inulin in the diet, it will help escort that out. Fruit in general is a bowel amplifying, encouraging type of food. Fruit helps you go to the bathroom. Vegetables a little bit less so. Fruit, yes. If you ever have had too much fruit in one sitting, you'll get a stimulation in the gut, and sometimes it can even cause diarrhea from the amount of fructose and the amount that fruit does stimulate the gut, creating this, in the digestive system. So inulin is just one example, but here is a list of other popular prebiotics that you will find online and people that are going to be touting the benefits of. So first of all, you're going to see chicory roots. That is, it's actually a popularized coffee alternative that gained recognition in French Louisiana, so down south, because they couldn't have access to coffee anyway. Dandelion greens, Jerusalem artichoke, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, barley, oats, apples, burdock roots, and then other roots. So you're going to have some from, for example, like parsnips, carrots, turnips, that entire family. And then you're gonna get bran. So when you have any kind of wheat bran or any other kind of raisin bran type of nutritional label, that is going to be a source of prebiotic fiber. And so I'm going to read something here, and I want you to really pay attention to my words. And I'm just reading off of a website, a very popular website. Prebiotics allow your gut bacteria to produce nutrients for your colon cells, which lead to a healthier digestive system. Now, for the average Joe, that does make sense. Prebiotics allow your gut bacteria to produce nutrients. Prebiotics feed your already existing gut bacteria to produce nutrients. Prebiotics do not produce nutrients. Prebiotics feed gut bacteria. Gut bacteria produces nutrients. If you are looking to get nutrients, if you're looking to get nutrition from a microbial source, probiotic is what you're going to want to aim for. A prebiotic will help feed the already existing, and I know I'm being repetitive, but I want this to be clear, and I want to say it in so many ways so that it makes sense in a more global view of what's a prebiotic, what's a probiotic. A prebiotic feeds these guys, feeds the already existing microbes in the gut. Other things that people don't realize is that the presence of vitamins. So this is going to be kind of a side subject, but where do vitamins come from? Oh, tricky question. So we're going to have protein, fats, carbohydrates, and then alcohol. These are our macronutrients, our calorie-bringing macronutrients. And you're going to have micronutrients, you're going to have minerals, and you're going to have vitamins. Minerals are from Mother Earth. Vitamins are byproducts from microbes. A microbe is the reason why a vitamin exists. When you have, so every food that exists on Earth, whether it be meats or plants, they're all going to have a set of bacteria that live naturally on them. Those bacteria that proliferate, that live, that are happy on this plant or animal, in a pig, on a piece of celery, in a cabbage, on a lamb skin, and anything. There is bacteria and microbes everywhere. These bacteria, or any kind of microbe, they're going to proliferate, live, and as a byproduct, they are going to create vitamins. And so that is why you're going to have, cows that eat grass. They're going to eat grass because they're going to be able to extract, they're going to get the microbes from that grass, eat it, and it will feed their internal type of gut microbiome. How does, for example, so case study, how does a pig get to be so rich in vitamin B1 compared to other types of animals? Well, that's because in a pig, you're going to have B1 producing microbes. what is it in a cow that makes it so rich in vitamin B12? Well, you're going to have vitamins. You're going to have microbes that create B12 in the cow, and that's how food gets its vitamin content. It's going to get its mineral content from Mother Earth, so you want to have mineral-rich soil, and then it's going to have its vitamin-rich content from the amount of bacteria and microbes that's present in that food as you harvest or cook with it. So then, if you're working on a vitamin deficiency, you're going to want to amplify the amount of microbes that produce that vitamin in your gut to help solve for that deficiency more efficiently. So if, for example, you're lacking in B12 because you don't have enough meat in the diet, you're going to want to have more of that meat in your diet to bring in that B12, which means that you're also going to be bringing in those microbes from a steak or whatever type of beef product you're having into the diet. So you are inoculating your gut with beef microbes, and that will help proliferate. And then once you have those beef microbes in your gut, then you will start intrinsically making your own vitamins. And that's how you can effectively solve for a vitamin deficiency, especially if you have a chronic or even a very severe deficiency. This is part of the reason why I'm such a big fan of not having fermented foods be such a major part, but I do think that they really are important to have as a minority on a daily basis in the food, whether it be like yogurt, sauerkraut, a homemade soda, anything. I just think that having a rich microbiome is so beneficial. And I think in the 21st century, one of the reasons why there's such this health epidemic is that we have gone away from classic traditional fermented foods and there's more factory made stuff, which just means that our microbiome is deficient. And so sometimes people come to me and they'll say, I have this problem, that problem, and I come to the conclusion that, well, sure, you have a vitamin deficiency, but I would say you actually have a microbiome deficiency. Everything you're eating is dead. You've cooked it to smithereens, and your microbiome has not been stimulated, and you've put forth, I don't say no effort, but I think there is a type of amplification and an encouraging conversation that needs to be had about having wonderfully fermented foods in the diet. So, probiotics. Probiotics, as we've learned through our prebiotics section, is just the live cultures. A probiotic is a live microbe that you are ingesting, that you are having as a dietary addition. When you go online and you look at the analysis of a probiotic versus a prebiotic and what is a probiotic, you're going to see a lot of conversation around yogurt and sauerkraut for what is a probiotic, but you can also do probiotic supplementation. You can, so you can get a capsule and you can have a probiotic in that way, but a probiotic is any type of food that still has its microbial population somewhat intact. It's easy to say yogurt because everyone knows what yogurt is. It's easy to say sauerkraut because most people know what sauerkraut is, or they know that sauerkraut is a fermented food, a lacto-fermented food. But that being said, if you are wanting to have more probiotics into the diet, more microbes going in, there's the approach of having more raw foods. And so you would have, if you have a raw apple that's been organically grown, not sprayed with pesticides, from head to toe, you can then inoculate your gut with good bacteria that are naturally living on that apple, which is a good thing. There's also the concept of, having, your vegetables that have this like natural type of eating a carrot out of the ground. Like that is something that can bring in microbes to the gut, of course, wash it off, but then, there's this type of like microbial population that you can get from, a garden grown carrot, which is also part of the reason why people say that gardens are so helpful in, amplifying one's health, because a garden, you're digging in the dirt, you've got your hands in the bacteria, microbes in the dirt, and you're pulling and you're working with food, and you're part of this living community that, involves microbes, and that is part of the reason why it's going to be so, life-giving, is because you're interacting with the miniature microbial life. Now, this may be more of an uncomfortable topic for Americans, but the presence of like beef tartare or a sticky carpaccio and or even sushi. Now, what are these foods? These are raw meat preparations. When you have raw meat and you have it processed appropriately and you're not afraid of food, you understand that raw meat can have beneficial, life-giving properties to it. And so having, if your steak is always cooked until it's shoe leather well done, you've killed all the microbes. But if you like your steak bloody, there's a chance that you're still getting that thin line of microbes from the middle into the gut, and that can be beneficial for the gut microbiome. For Americans that are interested, or anyone that has not, been accustomed to eating raw meat, I would say start with something easy like sushi. That's a very easy, approachable thing to do, and it's very accessible. Not every store or restaurant is going to be able to serve you beef tartare, but it is something that is of value, and I think that it is missing from our modern, overcooked society. And so having these raw microbes from meats also do play a part in having a healthy microbiome. And what does that mean? That means that technically raw meat can fall into the probiotic category. Honestly, for me to outline all of the health benefits from probiotics, that would be a really big task, and that would be kind of hard for me to address, every individual thing. Having something on a more daily basis and positively influencing your gut microbiome, I think, is a really smart way to be proactive in your health, and it's super easy to do. And having yogurt, honey, and like a cut up fruit, that is so easy, and it's a fantastic dessert, and it's an easy way to get probiotics into the diet. And so for me, that's like win. It's so easy to do. If I did have to outline the main benefits of probiotics and working on a gut microbiome, I would say that, of course, number one is having good gut health, which means having good digestion, which means having there be ease in the bathroom, no straining, no effort, and you're wanting it to go easily. That would be my number one, highlighted benefit of a probiotic. But then you also have the gut-brain axis. So, of course, when you drink alcohol, you get drunk, and, it influences your brain. Same thing. You have enough bacteria in enough microbes in your diet, it can positively affect your brain. And if you find that maybe you have a mood disorder or a mood instability, or you're anxious, you're depressed, you're this, you're that, if you have chronic fatigue, then having a beneficial microbiome where you're actively bringing intentional fermented foods, microbes, probiotics into the digestive system can positively influence your outlook on life, your mindset, the way your mind, brain, mood, balance works. And I am a number one testimonial for that. I had an endorphin, mood disorder, and I used to cry all the time at the drop of a hat. And it was really strange. And I know I'm a sensitive person, so here's a personal page out of my book. And the reason why I'm such a big fan of fermented foods, I didn't like how unstable my mood was. I was very sensitive, and I don't want to say I was towards the bipolar end, but having these fermented foods in my diet has really stabilized my mood and has made me more of, my mood is, first of all, stable and good. I feel good, and I know that it is because I have been paying attention to my gut microbiome and the obvious gut microbiome brain axis, and I have amplified that, and I pay attention to it, and I feel great. And so, testimonial number one. Furthermore, and this also leans into a personal note, which I think it matters, because why am I doing this? Why am I recording this video? I used to be really sick and I'm not anymore. And I think that I have something nice to say and I want to share my experience. And so I used to be, I had my mood problems, but then I also used to be severely allergic to like literally the outside, trees, grass, pollen, cats, dogs, like bedridden. I was not okay growing up, and I had severe allergies. No food allergies, interestingly, technically speaking, but allergic to everything. And now we know that the immune system is rooted in the gut. The majority of it is rooted in the gut. And the immune system can be positively stimulated by bringing in beneficial microbes into the diet, which is also what I found to be interesting is as I was going through my discovery of fermented foods and of positively influencing my gut microbiome, both my mood improved and my allergies improved, and I haven't been sick with allergies in 5-6 years, I would say. And so that I think merits mentioning, and so here's my N of 1 experience. And so allergies and immune health also. So reasons for probiotics: good gut microbiome, so good digestion, brain, mood health, and immune system support. Those are my top 3. Of course, you'd get weight loss, you'd get heart health. If you type in microbiome and anything afterwards, I'm sure you could pop into some type of like website that would have some type of information in it. But we are in the infancy of the microbiome and understanding how fermented foods influence our gut. And I think that it is worth trying, especially for people that have been trying to find a cure or help and they're feeling stuck. All right, so that was an overview of prebiotics versus probiotics, the difference between the two. Now remember, prebiotics just feed the already existing microbes in your gut. Probiotics are the actual microbes that you take in through your diet. We also talked about examples of prebiotics such as Inulin and the FODMAPs diets. We talked about how vitamins are made and the beneficial effects of having a rich gut microbiome, meaning what probiotics can do for the body. Once again, my name is Matthew Kress, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video. You can find me at kressdietetics.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please ask them in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to create some conversation around this topic of prebiotics and probiotics. I will see you in the next video, and thanks again for watching. Bye.